We've been told it's official, February 22nd, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, their much anticipated rematch. That really does give us something big to look forward to in the early stages of what I feel is going to be a big year of boxing. Now, if I want to be negative, which if you allow me to be for a moment, these guys should have fought this year, shouldn't they? Both of them have had something of a filler year. After Tyson Fury's great comeback, arguably beating Wilder, his overcoming of depression, as we're all very aware, he just has two crappy filler fights. He's supposed to be getting progressively fitter and better and sharper, and after fighting Wilder, he fights Tom Schwartz. Now, Tyson Fury tried to defend fighting Schwartz, as did his dad. But let's just see what Tom Schwartz does in the heavyweight division at the world stage from here on out. I very much doubt he's going to do a lot. Then he fights Otto Verleen. Okay, he did get cut. It was a tough fight. But again, he made a meal of a guy who he was supposed to just play with. With Deontay Wilder, we didn't learn anything about him that we didn't already know. Two great knockouts. One over Brazil, who's never been a factor at the heavyweight division. And then one over Luis Ortiz. It was a rematch that didn't need to happen. But if we're just going to be positive here and focus on the positives, this rematch between arguably the top two heavyweights in the world is going to take place in less than 2 months' time. Now, rather than give my prediction, the tactics, I'm just looking more at the landscape of the heavyweight division. If I'm to believe what I've heard, that these guys could be contractually locked in to a third fight, that might be it for both of them for 2020, fighting each other twice. Now, considering the delays we get in boxing through difficulties with coming up, settling negotiations, or injuries, as we've seen with Alexander Usyk, if Fury and Wilder face each other twice in 2020, that is definitely not a wasted year. That is a good one. That's a success by modern heavyweight standards. The slight problem is it doesn't give us what we really want to see. In an ideal world, one of them would win emphatically, and then that winner would go on to face Anthony Joshua, and we would finally get an undisputed and lineal, lest we forget, heavyweight champion in 2020. But I just can't see it happening. We've seen Wilder have pointless rematches against Stavern, against Ortiz. We've seen Fury basically have a bit of a year out. Heavyweights can do that. If you go on Google every day, they're just telling us non-news about what could or might happen. These guys can just milk us for publicity without doing anything. That's part of the reason why I prefer the lower weights these days. These guys can just keep going, hey, look at me in interviews. So my point being, they can just wait another year. They know they can. They know these big fights are there. So Wilder and Fury may face each other twice in 2020, but undisputed, the winner fighting AJ, I just can't see it. Now, regarding this rematch, I was listening to a little quick preview. Joe Tessitore, I'm sure a jack of many trades and master of none. He has got to be one of the most insufferable boxing commentators going today. He is so overexcitable and ill-informed. He sounds just like some casual moron on the microphone. And he had a bit of that hyperbole about him. And when talking about this rematch, he said he can see it breaking all pay-per-view records. I very much doubt it, Joe Tessitore. This is not doing about 4.5 mil like Pacquiao Mayweather did. No way. And while I know Tyson Fury has done a lot this year in terms of trying to boost his profile, singing with Robbie Williams, going to the WWE, when he called him a global superstar, I just kind of question that, because often a lot of people don't know who big boxers are these days. This isn't the 90s here in Britain when Eubank, Naz and Ben were fighting and pretty much everyone knew who they were. I was on a date a couple of years ago with some girl and I was asking her, do you know who Anthony Joshua is? Like, just expecting that she knew. And she was like, no. And Joshua was absolutely massive here 2 years ago, as he is today. So when people say global superstar, I just really question how big are boxers in the public eyes these days, with them being stowed away on pay-per-view. But yeah, I don't like Joe Tessitore. He talks absolute shit. You don't learn anything from him. Again, an overexcitable chipmunk of a man. But regardless, that shouldn't spoil this great fight if he's going to call it, and it definitely is a good thing that it's going ahead.